Hi, welcome to Jen's Daily Dish. Today we're going to be making bagels. What? Yes, bagels. What? Yes, bagels. I don't know about you, but I can't get New York bagels right now, and unless you live in New York, that's the only time you're able to get New York bagels. So, with all that aside, we're gonna try making them, and I am sure that they're gonna turn out great. This is my first time making them, so if I can do this, you can too. And also because I'm making bagels for time that I ever did. Looking like a true new baker, feeling like a little kid. The first thing that we're gonna do is make a poolish. Poolish. P-O-O-L-I-S-H. It is like a starter. It is also like a biga, B-I-G-A, that you would use in other types of dough. A lot of French breads use it. And the purpose is to make a pre-fermentation that you'll later add to the main part of the dough to sort of like give you a head start. It adds to the texture and to the flavor. So let's go ahead and do that. It's super easy. 1 1/4 cups and 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. 1/4 teaspoon instant yeast. 3/4 cup and 2 tablespoons lukewarm water, about 75 to 80 degrees. Look at that. Stir together. Cover your poolish with plastic wrap and let it rest at room temperature for 2 to 8 hours. Do something fun in that time. Watch a new Netflix show. Hey, if you're liking what you're watching, please subscribe. I'd love for you to like the video too. YouTube watches everything that's happening, and so the more that you like and the more you subscribe, the more videos I can make. And that's a win-win for everyone. Nori made me aware that the poolish has been sitting out at room temperature for over 2 hours. That's fantastic. It is time to make the dough. Isn't that right, Nori? She says yes. All right, look at the poolish. The yeast was having fun, all those yummy bubbles. Go ahead and put this in a large mixing bowl. We're gonna mix by hand in just a minute. We're gonna add 1 1/2 cups of lukewarm water to the poolish and break it up by hand. Yes, hand. You can also do this on low speed with your mixer, but it's much more fun to do this by hand. 5 1/2 cups all-purpose flour. 2 3/4 teaspoons salt. 3/4 teaspoon yeast. Mix again by hand. Ooh, I don't get to do this very often. It's kind of fun. It should be a very shaggy, tacky, cohesive mass. Whatever you do, resist the urge to add more flour. Place the dough in a separate bowl, and what we're going to do is let this rest for 2 hours. After the first hour, we're going to come back to it and fold it onto itself 3 or 4 times in the bowl after 1 hour. Time to stretch and fold the dough over itself 3 or 4 times in the bowl. Let it rest for an additional hour, and then we're going to stick it in the refrigerator. Look how puffy it got after 2 hours. Now, the simplest thing you could possibly do, you do nothing. You stick it in the refrigerator and go have a good night's rest, because tomorrow you will have fresh bagels. In your dreams, think about what you want on your bagels. Do you want sesame seeds? Poppy seeds? How about sunflower seeds? It's different and delicious. Or how about that everything seasoning, or onions, or plain, or the choices are endless. Into the fridge it goes. Day 2, let's get this out of the refrigerator. Let it rest at room temperature for 1 to 2 hours. Lightly flour your surface. We're going to turn the dough out and separate it into 12 separate pieces for 12 bagels, a dozen. Look how puffy it got. Fantastic. All right, let's get this into 12 separate pieces, best I can here. If you have a scale, each piece should weigh about 114 grams. Flour your hands just slightly because the dough is still very tacky and sticky, but you're going to make these into very tight balls. Cover with plastic wrap and let rest at room temperature for 15 to 30 minutes. Time's up. Now it's time to shape them into bagels. All right, let's make those bagels. Again, make sure your surface is lightly floured here. Don't need to do it as much with my silicone mat, but you might if you don't have one. And what we're going to do is we're going to make these 2 to 3 inches in diameter. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to keep this here so we can all watch it together. All right, first piece of dough goes down, poking a hole through with my thumb. And I am literally just going to be stretching it like this. That's it. You can see the gluten is not relaxed, and that's okay because we're going to make it relax. We're going to give it a rest after we're done with all of them. So just kind of stretch your bagel out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be delicious, which it will be. All right, let's see how I was doing. That's about right. That's about the size these bagels are going to be. We'll move that over to the side. Let's do the next one. Cover the bagels and let them rest for 20 to 30 minutes. While the bagels are resting, really the gluten, go ahead and preheat your oven to 475 degrees. Also, get your pot of water ready to go because we're going to have to boil them. You want 4 inches of water in your pot, so get a pot that is quite big. It should hold at least 6 quarts of water and fill it up with 4 inches of water. You also have a decision to make. Do you have a pizza stone? If so, you can bake your bagels on the pizza stone. That's what I'm going to be trying. So put your pizza stone in the oven before you heat it up. No pizza stone? No problem. Just going to go ahead and bake your bagels on some cookie sheets with some parchment paper on top. Okay, the bagels are just about done resting. My oven is set to 475 degrees with a pizza stone. Now the water that I talked about, up to 4 inches. 4 inches actually is really more all the way up to the tippy top, but I know due to displacement of water, when I put the bagels in, it's going to rise. I didn't want it to overflow. So let's get this water boiling, but first we need to add in a couple things. 1 tablespoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of barley malt syrup if you can find it, or molasses works too. This is molasses because I could not find the barley malt syrup. Why are we boiling bagels? Same reason we boil the hot buttered soft pretzels. You can watch that video separately. You boil them because that is what gives it its thick, chewy texture on the exterior. Otherwise, you just have regular bread. And we're making bagels, and that is no ordinary bread. As soon as the water gets to a medium boil, lower your temperature a bit so it stays at a medium boil, and we're gonna go ahead and get this assembly line going. I've got my bagels ready to be boiled. I've got my pot of water that's almost at a medium boil. I have my ingredients. I've got my everything seasoning, my sunflower seeds, my sesame seeds. I will keep a few plain, and feel free to add whatever ingredients you want. And then they're gonna go on this baking sheet and straight onto the pizza stone. First one goes in. Count to 30. All right, because I'm using a pizza stone, there will be 2 batches. They should bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. If you're just using 2 cookie sheets, you get to put them all on at the same time. Just rotate them halfway through the bake time. It should be a very deep mahogany brown, delicious bagels. I'm gonna try to sneak these on. All right, start the timer. All right, I've been watching them carefully. I tinted them with foil in the middle because I noticed that some of the sunflower seeds were getting burnt, but I think they're done. Let's check. Oh, now they should be mahogany brown. That's what this one is for sure. It is firm to the touch. Some are a little bit lighter, but I think they are ready to come out. Oh, and that one sesame seed wants to stay. All right, here we go. Let's get them onto a sheet to cool. Let's get another batch in. All right, let's check the second batch. I did turn it around in the middle, and I think that helped. And these look fantastic. Let's get them out of here. Okay, here. They look delicious. Let them cool for just a little bit, but we want a warm bagel, so we're gonna try them shortly. All right, let's try an everything bagel. You can tell that the crust on it is nice and firm. Okay. I put a lot of seasoning on. More seasoning's better. Ooh, look at that. Looks exactly like a bagel should look. Let's take a taste. Let's take a bite, piece off. Let's get the proper amount of cream cheese on. So a little bit of cream cheese. All right, let's taste it. I love that the everything seasoning stuck to it, and so did the sesame seeds and the sunflower seeds, and it's baked perfectly, and it's got the cream cheese on it, how I like my bagel. Let's do this. I even impress myself sometimes. You saw me. I had no clue what I was doing, but I made it through. There were a lot of steps, not too time consuming, but a lot of interruptions in the day. And I made a dozen bagels exactly how I like them. Everything, sesame, sunflower seed, and some plain. These are really good. If I can do this, you can too, really and truly. Don't forget to like and subscribe so I can continue making all sorts of things.